Hey, Bruce Naylor here, Frugal Tech, and I'm going to do a little bit of Q&A in this video. And before I get started, I want to let you know that a little over a month ago, I talked about if you'd use my Amazon affiliate link, that would support the channel, and I would be buying products and reviewing them on the channel and then selling them at a discount. Well, I'm getting ready to live up to my promise, and we're going to be doing a review of really good desktop speakers for under 50 bucks. So that video is going to be coming probably within a week or so. And again, I want to thank you for your support using that Amazon affiliate link down below. Well, let's get started on these questions. Now, I actually got two questions from View52. And the first one asked me, and this is in regards to the video I did about DSLR versus a camcorder. I want to know if I've ever considered using a wireless lav microphone. The answer is yes, I have. I haven't invested in one. What I have been using when I do use a lav are these right here from Aspen Mics. And this is a wired lav mic. And I got to tell you, I learned about these from the Frugal Filmmaker. Great channel, but he quit posting videos probably about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer. I don't know what happened to the guy. But I learned about these, and these are fabulous lav mics. And I'll put the link below. And then I generally will run it into my digital audio recorder. I haven't been doing that here lately because I don't like the hassle getting all wired up. So I've invested in some fairly high quality shotgun microphones for these cameras. I will admit the one I use on my 70D, the position of it, I get a little bit of echo. I need to work on that. So yeah, but as far as a wireless lav goes, I think in the type of videos I do and the way I want to do them, lavs for the most part don't fit into my workflow, but it certainly is worth considering somewhere down the road. Now the second question View52 asked me is what my thoughts were on electric vehicles. And so when it comes to electric vehicles, I mean, they've been around for a little while. Actually, you can find electric cars dating back to the early 1900s, believe it or not. However, that being said, I think for the most part, the Tesla represents the electric vehicle, even though you have with the Nissan Leaf and you have Chevy Bolt and some others. The reality is Tesla sets the gold standard for electric vehicles, and now they're coming out with the Model 3, and this is the electric vehicle for the masses. And so I'm not really going to comment on the car itself. You know, cars are basically you like it, don't like it. It's really got to do with this. This is a make it or break it car for the electric vehicle industry. This is going to be a car, this is going to be that mainstream price point where it's a lot more affordable to people, right? And you're going to be in that $35,000 price range for the basic model, which puts you square in that territory of the Toyota Camry, the Honda Accord, and others. You're going to be dealing with a whole new category of buyer. For many people, buying the Model S and more expensive Teslas, these are not generally their primary vehicle. So I think they're a little bit more willing to go along with the growing pains of Tesla. But when you start selling these things in quantity, I don't know if Tesla's really prepared as far as the number of service departments that they have and dealing with that type of customer where that car is going to be much more critical to their livelihood and to their family than say a Model S or the Model X is going to be. So it's going to be very, very interesting. I think if Tesla doesn't execute well on service and dealing with this category of buyer, it's going to be a big black eye in electric vehicles in general, not just for Tesla, but for others. That's going to keep people still continuing to look at gasoline-powered automobiles. That being said, we're being pushed quite hard, I think, to move to electric vehicles. They're the future. That's the way it's going to be. I think that's a good thing. I think we have to rethink a lot of our economy when we do that, because I don't think most of us, when we think about cars, we think about the factories building the cars, but we never think about the millions of jobs that are dependent on that. Everything from places that do tune-ups, oil changes, backyard mechanics, all these people out there make a lot of money and a living off of replacement parts and stuff based around the gasoline engine, the regular transmissions, and those kind of jobs would go away in an all-electric vehicle market. It's going to be very interesting what happens to those people, that's or the auto parts store that sells water pumps, oil filters, etc., when they're no longer needed. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in all that. But in my opinion, this is the introduction of the most important vehicle or class of vehicle probably in the history of cars since the Model T. In my opinion, because it captures the imagination. Tesla's made such a dramatic splash in the electric vehicle market, and it's going to be, this is the electric car that people, I think, are going to really identify with. Not so much as a curiosity, but as the real deal. This is what they are, and this is what we're getting for money. And if Tesla screws up service, if they, don't understand their customer in this market segment as well, and I think they probably do. Elon Musk is a brilliant guy, but everybody can make a mistake. So we will see how warranties are covered, services taken care of on these cars, and the quality of the vehicle, reliability is another issue. When you look up Tesla and you look up reliability, it's all over the map. Generally speaking, the sample size is probably too small and the company is too new to have a real amount of empirical data that's been peer reviewed as far as the actual quality and reliability of a Tesla vehicle. But this will certainly bring all that into light. All right, the next question comes from Jamster1, who wants to know what I think about the lack of a wrist rest that came with the Logitech G413 carbon keyboard. It didn't bother me at all because I honestly never use wrist rests. I find they kind of get in my way and force me to do things that are awkward for me. I just never had them and never used them. It's a personal thing. I think if you use one, it's probably a smart thing to do. I don't do it. Sorry, Jamster. All right, the next question comes from Kevin Bragdon, who wants to know, what about gender bias in the tech industry? This is in response to the video I did about confirmation bias. And it was interesting because I've seen this kind of little debate going back and forth between him and another YouTuber, I know, Steve Klingon, about gender bias. All I can do is give you some anecdotal thoughts on that. I have done like zero research on this. I do believe you both had some valid points in your argument. One saying that kind of felt that men were keeping women out of the field, and the other one saying maybe women aren't that interested. Maybe it's a little bit of both. I don't know of any, and I do know people own software companies, and they have never been opposed, as far as I know, in private conversation to having a women on board. They just go with the best talent they can find for the money. So is it women aren't interested? I don't really know whether it's, it's just an area that doesn't really gravitate to women in the same amount that it is men, or is it truly that women are purposely steered away from these things? I really don't know. But certainly, in my mind, I would have no problem hiring a female developer. Ultimately, it's the product they produce. That's the only thing that, one of the things that I'm interested in. Obviously, I'm interested in things like emotional intelligence and how well they get along with others, and they do good work. But I would never let gender even cross into my mind. Some of the best employees I've had and coworkers I had have been women. But as far as STEM and how that attracts women, just anecdotally watching little boys and little girls grow up, I always noticed that little girls tend to play together and they tend to be more interested in things like dolls and that kind of thing, and boys tended to be more interested in tinkering and building stuff. And that's without any adult intervention, so I don't know. I really don't know. It's an interesting question, one I certainly can't really answer. Next, Sika 1000. Do some cable management. Looked at the video of my Alienware. Well, I'm glad you brought that up because my cable management, I will admit, is absolutely piss poor. The desk and the setup that I got is going to be replaced. I'm actually buying another new desk, and at that point, I'll get the cable management stuff nailed down. This was all kind of temporary. Long story short, we had leased our home for several years, and so I was never wanted to get something really permanent desk-wise and all that. And then we bought the place, and so all that's changed. Now we're busy fixing stuff up. So my office, my home office / studio, is one of the last things on the list because everything's got to be tore down, walls repainted, carpets all taken care of, new lighting put in, and then new desks and new arrangement. The way the room's laid out kind of makes it difficult because I only have one window that faces due east. I either get super bright sunshine or it's rather dark in here, so I got to have better studio type lighting in here. And when you put all that together, cable management has not been a priority, so I apologize. I understand that it should all look good, and it will. Just need time as I work through all this other stuff. And finally, CY Metro wants to know, and this is about my video I did about the Echo Dot. Wants to know what I think about privacy issues with using these smart home devices. And that's a great question. First, I think you have to understand, at least on an intellectual level, that any IoT device, Internet of Things device, is definitely hackable if you don't take certain steps. And there is no such thing as 100% safety on the internet, no matter what anybody tells you. But you can take reasonable steps to ensure your privacy. And I understand that using like the Echo Dot here, Amazon is harvesting data constantly. As to whether or not they're secretly listening into my conversations, I have no idea. I think you have to kind of accept the fact that you should probably, be a little bit careful with these things. But privacy in and of itself has become, generally speaking, a much more difficult issue to contend with. And so I think being very careful about what you post online, I think being very careful just in general takes you a long, long way. And I treat my privacy, and I come from that generation where we enjoyed a degree of privacy that younger people really don't think about. We didn't talk about the things that we did. We don't have those embarrassing pictures of us being drunk, wearing a lampshade at the office party from 30 years ago. These people do. I think we have to accept certain things as part of modern life. And if you want these services, understand that going into the deal that some of that data will be used probably for marketing purposes. As to whether anything nefarious is going on, always a possibility. Take the appropriate precautions and, go on with your day. That's probably the best thing that I can say to you on that. And I think on that note, we'll wrap up this video. Thanks so much for watching. I look forward to your comments down below. Talk to you later.